skittering, scampering, spiders galore. The only thing better than a spider is that which controls spiders, such as our lovely friend the Ettercap, a bulbousy mutiny. I mean, as it is an aberration in and of itself, the Ettercap is surprisingly 6 feet tall. You'd think it would be a little smaller, but no, it's a 6 feet tall bug. Weighing in and just around 200 pounds, give or take. I mean, there's probably bigger, smaller. All depends on how well their diet works for them. Primarily solitary, unless, of course, mating, which pretty much every spider jumps into that issue. Unlike its common ancestry of spiders, it actually lives with others, with the spiders themselves, not with its own species. Nah. Can't be a shut-in if you live with your own species. Nah. Not fair at all. As an aberration, CR3 isn't the most amazing. It is, however, fairly dangerous for what it can do compared to most CR3. Mixed with its high dexterity and for some reason taking improved initiative, unless it's getting that shit for free, who knows? And for some reason taking great fortitude. I have no idea why feat choices. It's bestiary 1, they just kind of get stuck with it. They also are described as having solitary pair or a nest, but even then, I don't know why you'd say that they could be in a pair. I guess if you ran into them in a mating season, I guess. Pretty decent dark vision, pretty standard par, low light vision, perception is fairly good. EC, well, can't say much when it relies on natural armor of all things. It's got a decent health pool because it's CR3, so it's got 4 or 5 hit dice usually. But ironically, its reflex save is one of its lowest saves, which unfortunate for that part. It's got decently good speed for a medium-sized creature, mixed with its climb speed decently. Now the kicker is, it has this nice bite and claw attack, but it's not likely to actually be able to use it because it's a coward. Unlike ceremoniously a coward, it aims to catch you in traps and not actually fight you for it. It does, however, actually have webbing abilities. So it does have creatively usage to be a spider in its nature. You're still going to have the sticky webs. It still has the poison, which is hit or miss. Sometimes poisons are there for you. And it actually owns the crafting skill for trap making, so it does invest itself in that. Mixed in with its ability to druid its way through spiders, it's almost more terrifying than. Speaking of, its most essentially useful ability it can produce is the lovely spider empathy, which is just druid wild empathy, but instead of common animals, it's for spiders. Which hence it uses spiders to do half its web work with it, and it gives them a mediocre implantment of intelligence. Woo! Now that's really going to be scary to picture, because then it can just train them up and really thread people. And as it's a pretend spider, or well, I guess a real spider, depending on where you live, it does own a poison. For a CR3, its poison has a pretty decent DC for once. Usually you're sitting at the low balling of 11 to 13, but it's actually sitting up in 15. It lasts a decent number of rounds. Unfortunately, it hits your dexterity, which is it's okay, I guess. It's a spider, so that's really common for it to hit your dex anyways. But it's applicated through its bite, which obviously it's got the spider head going for it, so yeah, I'd hope it could bite you for poisoning. And last but not least, the crucial crux of its creature creations. It's trapping. Now, they have a listing of them in the default bestiary, but you can assume that it can pretty much make any trap it feels the need to settle you're going for. Which, if you know enough about traps, they are probably the most dangerous part of this whole creature's build. Seeing as how traps tend to be a little more deadly compared to the CR listed for them. He'll step on them, get split in half, and it's considered like a CR2. I mean, even just looking at the base creatures fancy list. Oh, not me. I don't want them to go and disappear anywhere. Oopsies. Come on, mouse. Cooperate with me. Because it has a lovely list of common traps that it'll use. Which you know is the easy one. You have your deadfall, which is just a pit trap essentially. Or I think it's a rock ball would technically be what it is. But either way, you trigger it, it drops a bunch of rocks. Or hits, in this case, I think hits you. You have the noose track, which is kind of scary to picture because that in and of itself is pretty much a literal noose. Everyone's favorite, the spear traps. Between them and the arrow traps, they're impossibly good to hits for something that's considered a CR2. Plus 15, man. Plus 15! You're not going to get a miss with this thing. But as it is, it has spider-like habits, I guess, would be the biggest accurate and most favorable statement to it. It keeps its spidery face, keeps its spidery friends, and on occasions you'll run into them in groups, but that's mostly just indoctrination through mating and collecting other and keeping the species going. Because as much as they don't want to, they're one of the few aberrations that still do interact with its own species to create more. Now, as it's an aberration, it's pretty dangerous, seeing as the natural traits of aberrations are pretty brutal to deal with, especially at CR3 levels of fighting. Now, most likely, if you do bother to actually deal with them, you're either going to trounce through whatever problems that you have to deal with, or you're dealing with all the traps. Actually fighting one, it's probably going to be a boss monster for lower end CR, so good luck dealing with that issue. It's not like the weakest in the world, considering it still has an average of like 15 in most of its stats. Not including its intelligence and wisdom, or in charisma, intelligence and charisma, which is kind of weird that its intelligence is so low, considering how crafty and intelligent they can be, but I'm not the guy who makes stats. If anything, it would make probably more sense if its wisdom and its intelligence were swapped around, but who knows? Either way, if you want to deal with spiders and you want something powerful enough to make the spiders do more than just jump ya, and that's probably about it for spiders. They don't live long enough in most combat situations. They're made squishy. Literally squishy. Even in the best of situations, you might get a round or two of spider and then it's dead. But with an Etten, you can make these things smart as get out and jump and hunt and eat every other problem on here. But hey, what do you know? Maybe you'll have some cooler ideas of what you did with an Etten, or an Etten you actually met and dealt with. Seeing as they don't really actually own a whole lot of campaign experience, I think you might have seen them a couple times in like 3.5. 4th edition, I think, has a nicer version of them, but for the most part, they're kind of just there. Good luck figuring out what to do with them. You can do plenty, but they're probably going to be very dissatisfying. But as for now, bye-bye!